couldn't see anything.
My apologies. And the laptop died. Jeff's here.
Okay, good afternoon, Mr. Bloom.
Good afternoon.
I have your new attorney, Mr. Ballard here, and since he has just been appointed as your attorney, he needs to get the discovery in the case from your prior attorney and get ready. So it appears that he will not be ready for the jury trial date you previously had, August 21st. Is that correct, Mr. Ballard?
Yes, Your Honor, that report is correct in its assessment.
Okay, and I did explain to counsel, Mr. Bloom, that we're transferring case assignments here, and your case and the rest of my criminal docket will be heard by Judge Slay. So we could adjourn this pretrial to August 17th, which would give Mr. Ballard a chance to get the discovery and have someone presumably talking with you before that day. Is that correct, Mr. Ballard?
That is, Your Honor. Again, the report is correct.
And Ms. Reiser, you had no objection to adjourning to August 17th?
No objection, Your Honor.
Okay. So is there anything further that we can accomplish today, counsel?
I don't believe so, Your Honor. Like I said, this is my first opportunity to come in contact with Mr. Bloom. I will be making it to Washtenaw early part of next week to meet with him.
Anything further, Ms. Reiser?
No, Your Honor, the trial will be canceled for the 21st and we'll be back before Judge Slay on August 17th at 1:30. Thank you.
Your Honor,
Trial was canceled. Yes, Mr. Bloom.
I need like 5 minutes like I did last time to just address the court with something that I need on record.
Well, no, because I don't know what you're about to say,
It's
and
not got anything to do with.
I want your attorney to have the opportunity to talk with you first.
I do not have transcripts. I do not have transcripts, Your Honor. That's what I'm saying. I don't have transcripts.
That's something you need to talk with your attorney about. Thank you.
Good day.
Thank you, Judge.
You're welcome.
That concludes our docket for today.
Good morning, Mr. Gardner.
Your Honor.
Okay, and so we are going to go on the record in the matter of the City of Wyandotte versus Nathan Elkins, 222126 and 221619.
Good morning, Your Honor. Attorney Corey Westmoreland, appearing on behalf of Mr. Elkins. Mr. Elkins, would you please state your name for the record?
Nathan Elkins.
All right, thank you. So we have a couple of things going on here with Mr. Elkins.
Sure.
On the 2126 matter, it's set for pretrial. And on the 1619, that was set for a bond violation hearing, but there's also a pretrial to still be held on this. Oh no, sentencing still needs to be held. Okay, so let's, and so we can handle the bond violation hearing on that one and set it for sentencing with this other one because there's been a resolution, correct?
Yes, there has been a resolution, Your Honor. I would just be simply asking that Mr. Elkins be sentenced on both today. Have it all run concurrent.
Okay. Well, first we have to, he was arraigned on the 10th of July. Okay, and so. Okay, Mr. Elkins, please raise your right hand. You solemnly swear from the testimony about to give this matter to be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth.
Yes, ma'am.
All right, and counsel as to the plea, can you please place that on the record?
Yes, Your Honor. At this time, Judge, my client is prepared to plead guilty as charged to the possession of drug paraphernalia.
All right, and so Mr. Elkins, as to you heard the plea that was placed on the record, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, are you chewing something?
No.
Okay. And as to the charge of possession of drug paraphernalia, how do you plead?
I plead guilty.
And you've gone over your advice of rights, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand those rights.
Yes, ma'am.
You also understand by entering into a plea, you'll be waiving some of those rights, specifically your trial and appellate rights.
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand the possible penalty as a result of your plea, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand that there's a recommendation for time served, but that's only a recommendation. This court does not have to follow that. Do you understand that?
I understand. Yes, ma'am.
And knowing all that, do you still want to continue with your plea?
I do, and I would like to speak to you before you sentence me.
All right, just a moment. Has anybody promised anything, threatened you, or forced you in any way for you to enter into a plea?
No, ma'am.
All right, counsel, if you can please vote to your client.
Sure. Mr. Elkins, were you in the city of Wyandotte on October 12th of 2022?
I was.
On that date and time, were you sitting in your car on a public road?
Yes, sir.
Were you approached by a Wyandotte police officer?
Yes, sir.
On that date and time, were you in possession of drug paraphernalia, specifically a crack pipe?
Yes, sir.
And that was in plain view that the officer observed?
Yes, sir.
Satisfied, Your Honor.
The court is also satisfied the plea is knowing, voluntary, and factually accurate. The court will accept your plea as charged on that matter. And as to the bond violation on the 221619 case, you were out on bond. You were not to return to 72 Biddle Avenue, and you were to submit to random testing. And then there was a violation of that bond order that alleges you failed to begin testing as ordered. And counsel, as to that, what's happening?
Yes, Your Honor, I did have an opportunity to speak to Mr. Elkins regarding the violation. At this time, we are prepared to enter a guilty plea.
All right, and so Mr. Elkins, I did mute you just because there was some background noise. Yeah, so if you can unmute, as to the bond violation, how do you plead?
To the bond violation, I would like to plead guilty, and then before I get sentenced, I would like to speak.
The court will indicate you are still under oath, and sir, you do understand your rights as to the bond violation hearing, correct?
I do, but I'm guilty because I was using, so I don't want to prolong the court and take up any resources from somebody else.
Okay, and sir, you also understand by entering into plea, you'll be waiving some of those rights, specifically right to a contested hearing.
Yes, ma'am.
And you understand the possible penalty as a result, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
And knowing all that, you still want to continue with your plea?
I do.
All right, has anybody promised you anything, threatened you, or forced you in any way for you to enter into a plea?
No, they have not.
All right, and counsel, if you can please run to your client.
Sure. Mr. Elkins, are you currently out on bond out of the Wyandotte District Court?
Yes, I was.
As a term and condition of your bond, were you to begin testing, drug testing?
Yes, I was.
And did you fail to drug test per
Yes, I
the
did.
requirements?
I failed it. So yes, I failed to start. Yes, I did.
And you understand that that's a direct violation of your bond?
Yes, I do.
Satisfied, Judge.
The court is also satisfied the plea is knowing, voluntary, and factually accurate. The court will accept your plea to the probation violation, I'm sorry, to the bond violation. And counsel, you're asking for immediate sentencing. The court will note that it is very familiar with Mr. Elkins. He's been here a number of times, and the court does have an updated criminal history. And so, counsel, I know that your client would like to address the court, but what would you like the court to know?
I just want to say
At this time, Judge, Mr. Elkins has been in custody for approximately 14 days. He's had some time to reflect and think about his actions. Obviously, he has not been using for some time now, so he's thinking a lot clearly now. This is exactly what he needed. He's apologetic for his actions, and he indicated to me that this is not the position he ever wants to put himself in ever again. So moving forward, I hope he takes the right steps to ensure that he's not in this position. Other than that, Your Honor, I would simply just be requesting consideration for credit for time served.
All right, thank you. And Mr. Elkins, what would you like the court to know?
that I'm sorry for as many of attempts you've given me to try to help me get back on my feet. I'm sorry that I took advantage of them, and that but this time I'm really ready. I want to thank the court for actually locking me up, because I've moved on to something harder than I was using before. And I never want to go back down to that. Just the detoxing and the withdrawals coming off of that shit is horrible. It made me somebody that I wasn't. And I just really would like either treatment or jail time, 60 days, whatever you're going to give me.
Sir, what did you move on to?
Well, I had got stabbed, so I got prescribed Percocets, and then somebody stole my prescription, and I went to start buying them off the street, and they were pressed with fentanyl.
So I last recall you being here, and you were clean. You had been clean for quite a while, actually.
Yeah,
and that you were working on getting your daughter back.
Yeah, I got my kids back. My dad has them, custody of them right now. I got stabbed in my neck right here in my jugular.
And how did that happen?
Hanging around the wrong people. I was sleeping. Somebody broke in my house trying to take, my stuff. And my dogs, I woke up to my dog attacking that person, and he stabbed me in the neck with a butcher knife, and I almost died.
When was that?
That was right before Christmas. Or I'm sorry, I said before Christmas. Before I said Christmas. I'm sorry. Right before it's like right before June, or about May, right before my stepmom's birthday. So I would say June 15th. And then I
how
went.
did you end up?
Go ahead.
Go ahead. No, go ahead.
Once I relapsed, when my prescriptions got stolen, I went right to where I knew how to get everything, and I relapsed on the crack, and then I bought the pills again, and then I just kept going down the cycle.
So how did you end up in custody this time?
I just got off. I actually got a really good job. I make like $2,200 a week working at Brooks Landscaping. I'm doing really good, like financially. But I was just sitting on my porch, and they drove by and seen me. I was sitting on my aunt's porch waiting for her to get home. My uncle had just had a heart attack, so she was at Dearborn, Maine, waiting for him to get to figure out what they were going to do with him. Like if he was keeping him, or if he was going to have a pacemaker. She was just waiting. So I was sitting on her porch, and I don't remember the officer's name, but I was sleeping. I just got off work. I was really tired. I was sitting in the chair, and I remember him pulling the hoodie off my face. And the first thing that came to my mind was to run. And then I was like, no, I'm not even gonna run. I'm just gonna go get my work taken care of because I'm on this shit. It was like a blessing.
Sir, hold on, Mr. Elkins, you're
I'm
still in
sorry.
court.
I'm sorry.
As comfortable as you may feel right now, you're still in court.
I know. I'm sorry for cussing, but
So would this be the same? Would this be the same aunt and uncle whose home you broke into a few years ago?
yeah. Yep. Someone I had just leased an SRT Durango, and someone stole it out of my driveway. So I've been waiting for my car to get found, and I've been getting rides to work.
And so tell me about what happened in January in Allen Park.
Okay, so maybe that's when I relapsed. If I told you January at Allen Park, that's about the time I got out of. I completed that rehab, okay, and that's when I was on the prescription Percocets. So I don't want to lie to you because my times are mixed up. That's when I relapsed, January, not May.
Okay.
So it was either I got out of that rehab January. They called me with a knife in a pipe, but the pipe was not on me. It was in a backpack that my family brought to the rehab with me. And when they took the bag to the police station. They caught me with a pocket knife. They said the pocket knife was too big for my hand or whatever, so they charged me with a pocket knife. And they took the bags and everything to the police station because I caught the bus home from the rehab. And yeah, that's what happened. I got charged with possession of paraphernalia and I don't know what the knife charge was, but open carry of a knife or something.
Okay.
But I honestly, like, I appreciate like being in here right now. I feel good being off, being clean off substances. So I'm not asking to keep me in jail forever, but if you want to put me into a treatment facility or I would appreciate it.
What's the longest you've been clean, Nathan?
Honestly, 6 months. It's like once I get there and I was getting ready to reach. Remember when I came to the Alamo Club? I shook your hand and everything, and that was like the prize.
Yes, because I will tell you, I was very, very pleasantly surprised to see you there. You were there with your girlfriend, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's my wife now.
Or your wife. All right, congratulations. And it was nice to see you there. And I thought you were really moving, you were continuing on that path.
I was, and when was that? Because I got stabbed like 2 weeks after that.
That would have been April 20th, I believe.
So yeah, that's about when I relapsed. So the stuff in Allen Park, I don't understand what happened, but yeah, I wasn't using then. Well, I did actually. I relapsed one time. Okay, so you're right. I did. I relapsed on crack during that time, but after I got stabbed is when I progressed to the fentanyl. So that is when I relapsed once on cocaine, and then when I got stabbed, I started using fentanyl.
Okay. All right, here's what this court's going to indicate. The court's going to indicate for your bond violation, since you failed to register for testing and failed to test, the court's going to indicate 20 days jail. As to the sentencing on both 1619 and 2126, the court's going to indicate 93 days jail, concurrent.
So 110, 113 days.
No, I think that would be best for you, but it's 93 days concurrent, which means that they're running together. So, and you've been in custody since July 10th, so that's 16 days, so you'll get 16 days credit But the 20 days jail is in addition to your 93 days jail.
So I have 113 days with 16 days
Yes, with
credited.
credit for 16 days, yes.
So I have like 89 days to do.
You'll get credit for good time as well, Mr. Elkins.
All right.
Now, Mr. Elkins, it used to be that we could sentence you to a treatment center.
You can send it to the JV3 program.
What's that?
You can send me to the JV3 program.
What is that?
It's the Jail Plus division, Jail Plus JV3. It's you do your 45 days program in the jail, and then you go to a rehab after. Salvation Army. It's called the Jail Diversion Program.
Okay. Well, thank you for educating me about that today, because that has not been communicated over to the courts.
It's a new program that they just started doing again.
Okay. Well, it's called the jail, what'd you say? The JD what?
Jail Diversion Program. Here you go. He'll tell you.
Oh, JDP. Okay. All right. I will indicate JDP. That way you can.
No, JV3. JV3. Here.
Your Honor, ma'am,
Yes.
it's the JB3 program. The only issue is the third phase is probation. That's the only thing about the JB3 program. It's incarceration, and he has classes here, and then he goes to an inpatient treatment center, and then the third phase is probation. But if you want him to keep treatment, you can do his sentence to be served in a treatment facility, and they'll find a place for him. Whether it's
So we're back. We're allowed to do that again now?
well, they're doing it right now. It's an alternative to being in jail.
Okay, because we were doing that, but then we were told that we couldn't do that anymore.
Well, the biggest thing is that if they're in for treatment, that's good. But if, a lot of the courts were putting homeless people in treatment centers that didn't need treatment, and it was filling up beds. But you can put them in the JB3 program. The only issue is the third phase is probation.
It's up to you, Judge. I could do the jail time, just do the jail time, or if you want to continue to check up on me, I'll do the probation through you guys, and I'll continue to test. It's. I don't mind.
Okay, here's a question I have for you. Are you interested in a treatment court?
I am, but I'm getting ready. I have the felony possession of crack case that I'm going to Friday to get sentenced on, and they're still sending me to the JB3 program. So I can just take the jail time, and I will do the treatment. I'll do treatment court, but I'm also doing the jail. I'm doing the mental health and drug court through downtown.
Okay. So I was unaware that that was happening Friday. So I think, counsel, perhaps we should adjourn the sentencing until after Friday so that there isn't.
I'll just do the jail time.
I mean, regardless, they'll give you credit for all time served. So even if you were sentenced next week, you would still have credit for all the time you've already done.
But here's my concern. But hold on, please, hold on. If he's doing this JD3 program, then, and I'm sentencing him to 93 days jail, then he'll be doing longer than the 45 days before he goes to treatment, unless I'm sentencing him right to treatment. If I'm sentencing him right to treatment, then how is he doing the 45 days for the JD3 program? So
I will do the jail time. I'll do the jail time first, and then the program time will come up. I'll do the program in the jail, and then after I complete the classes in jail, they'll send me there. It's a program in jail too. You do classes every day.
Okay, so
Judge, I'm sorry. I was just trying to, but I'll just take the 93 days in jail, and I will continue to keep in touch with you to let you know that I'm doing good. Mr. Santo, I really appreciate you. You know my situation, and I know that you want to make sure I'm doing good, and I promise you I will make sure. I promise.
okay,
All right.
but I still have to, I don't, here's the thing, counsel, and Mr. Hawkins, I don't know that the sentence I just imposed is conducive to what you're doing on Friday. And so then we have conflicting sentencings. So.
No, I will still do the jail time. I will still do the jail time, the misdemeanor. I will still have to do your time first before.
I understand that, but my point is this. If you're going to be going into treatment, I don't want to prolong that any longer than it has to.
Oh, okay.
So,
yeah, let's do what you're saying. Yeah, let's do that.
Do you know what I'm saying? Because I haven't even.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. You don't want to keep me in jail if the felony's sending me to treatment. You don't want to keep me in jail longer than I'm supposed to be. If I'm going to treatment. Correct. Okay,
Correct.
yes. We'll do that.
Okay, good. Okay, so.
I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. We're going to adjourn the sentencing so we can do this after your sentence on your felony so that we can know what we're doing.
Okay.
So let's set this for August 1st. At 8:30 a.m. on both of these matters.
All right.
And this is a perfect example as to why I don't like to do immediate sentencing, because I didn't even have that information regarding.
We'll talk about that in a sec, okay? All right, so Mr. Orahel Nagara, you've got two cases, 23 CR 03886, which is unauthorized removal of a shopping cart and then a failure to appear warrant back in community court. That was back at the end of April. And then we have 23 CR 07624, which is obstructing and resisting an officer by noncompliance. Do you understand that?
Yes.
Okay, and you're very lucky. We've got the two lawyers here that deal with community court, so they can fill me in on what's going on with you and what the best way is to deal with this. Counsel?
Your Honor, when I spoke with Mr. Oriel Noguera, he was uncertain about what he wanted to do, whether he wanted a not guilty plea on the shopping cart case and what he wanted to do with the O&R. So I asked what I would be asking for if I'm unsure of what he wants to do. He would rather have time served than go back to community court, is what I'm understanding. And so I think the court's going to need to inquire of him on what he chooses to do.
Okay.
Judge, if I may, my 2 cents, I'll make a motion to dismiss the shopping cart violation with his plea to the obstructing and resisting. As far as him considering community court, I think that it is a wise decision. The O&R is fairly egregious, and I likely would be seeking a suspended sentence if he didn't want to avail himself of help of community court. So I'd encourage him to come to community court. I think we can help him there.
Okay. So Mr. Orahel Nahara, first question though, I've got one thing that calls you Wilbur, and then on my docket, it calls you Giovanni. What is your true legal name?
My full legal name is Wilbur, and middle name is Giovanni, but I go short for Geo for the Geo Metro.
Okay.
Nickname.
Got it. Okay, Mr. Orahel Nahara.
Geo Metro, all that stuff. Geo.
Okay. So do you understand what?
So your name is Wilbur Giovanni. That is an interesting mix. And his nickname is Geo for the Geo Metro.
What the prosecutor's telling me here is that they'll dismiss the shopping cart charge. That'll get rid of the warrant. If you no contest to the obstructing and resisting charge. Do you understand that?
Okay.
Is that what you want to do?
Sounds good.
Okay. Then let's make it official. In case number 23 CR 07624, what's your plea to obstructing and resisting an officer by noncompliance?
I would say guilty or no contest. I don't know, because I was trying to get help. I was trying to call for the sheriff because he was gonna let me go, then not, because the intimidation of my dog, aka my companion dog, aka
Okay.
my service dog.
All right. So you want to enter a no contest plea for it?
I don't know what is best. I'm up in the air. That's why I asked for assistance.
Okay. Well, we can give you assistance. But I do not want to force you to enter a plea to something that you don't want to enter a plea to. The no contest plea basically says, well, I don't admit that I did anything wrong, but I do understand and I admit that the city's got enough evidence against me that if I went to trial, I'd probably lose. So I just want to try and resolve it if I can.
I'll probably plead maybe guilty because I don't know if time served will count.
Okay. Well, time served will count no matter what you plead, whether you plead guilty or no contest. So why don't we do this? I'm going to enter a no contest plea for you because it sounds like you want to resolve this thing today. And then let's figure out what the next best step is for you. Okay.
I want my son back. That's what's priority number one for me.
Okay. All right. So I've entered a no contest in 23 CR 07624. Case number 23 CR 03886 will be dismissed. That will also quash the warrant. Okay, so Mr. Orahel Nahara. Well, let me go back to Ms. Burning. Sounds like he's got some family issues he wants to take care of. Do you have any information that you'd like me to know?
Your Honor, what's most important to my client is his dog. And he was very concerned that somebody was going to take his dog away. It's very, very important to him. Other than that, I am not sure. I would really think that community court would be a good place for us to help him. But at the time that I talked to Mr. Oriel Noguera, he was unsure as to whether he wanted to do that.
Okay. So Mr. Oriel Noguera, before we go to Ms. Gianoli, are you willing to show up at community court on Wednesday and deal with them?
Yes, I just have to have my companion dog, aka my son, with me at all times. I could say people hate him because he's a sled dog. He pulls me around everywhere. They
Okay.
stole my wagon and the park rangers and so yeah.
So when you're telling me you want to reunite with your son, you're talking about your dog.
Yes.
Okay. All right. I understand that. Okay, Ms. Gianoli.
Judge, ordinarily, because the failure to appear, I'd ask that we hold him. I know we have 3 spots available. I don't want him to lose his dog though either. So if he is willing and makes his assurance and promise that he will show up on Wednesday morning at the downtown library, I'm okay with ORing him in order to appear, Judge.
Okay, and then let Judge Hazlett Stevens deal with I guess is it going to be Judge O'Neill this week?
Yes.
Okay, and then let her deal with the sentencing?
Yes.
Okay. All right, so Mr. Orahel Noguera, do you know where your dog is right now?
CPA impound, aka dog
Okay.
prison,
All right, so animal control came and took him?
I guess. I don't know.
All right, well, I would love for you to be able to reunite with your animal. I understand how important those relationships are, and I think that they are therapeutic. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to release you on your own recognizance. What I want you to do, you got 2 things that you need to do. You need to check in at the Reno Municipal Court downtown by the river, 1 South Sierra Street. Do you know where the Muni Court is?
Right there by the Y, where it splits, before the library, downtown library.
Nope. It's over on the corner of Court Street and Sierra Street, right down by the river, kind of by Wingfield Park.
All right.
Okay. I need you to show up there by tomorrow morning at the very latest, just to let them know what's going on with you. Okay. Number 2 is you need to show up at community court at the downtown library the day after tomorrow on Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock in the morning. Okay. Can you do that?
Yes.
Okay. You're going to get all of that written down for you. You're going to sign and promise. So if you don't show up, we're going to issue a warrant for your arrest, and I don't want to do that. Okay.
Copy that.
All right. Good luck, sir. All right. You're all done. Okay. Next up will be Chanson Roque. Hello, sir.
Hello, Your Honor.
How do you say your last name? Is it Roque?
For the first.
Oh, I had assumed 8:30.
Well, I know what to say about assumption, but I'll put it at 8:30.
Thank you, Your Honor. Sorry about that.
No worries. Okay. That's what do we have here? What is this? Okay, well, I'm just gonna go in order of here. Do we have Nicholas Brown ready? Shannon Miller. Okay. All right. We're going to go on the record in the matter of the city of Wyandotte for Shannon Miller, 174614 and 4613.
Good morning, Your Honor. First, Gary Gardner on behalf of Ms. Miller Baldo. I have been informed, Your Honor, that my client's in the hospital somewhere. So I called her out home last night, didn't get an answer. I called her several times this morning, and then a friend of hers who was here present has heard from her family that she's in the hospital. I asked for an adjournment, and I would provide documentation of her indisposition or indisposing day.
Well, we've been waiting 5.5 years for her. I guess one more week won't be any harm, apparently.
We did give it voluntarily, Your Honor, on this one, so.
She has no, you're not identified for the record. All right, and you're going to be bringing in that documentation?
Yes, Your Honor.
August 1st at 8:30, right? I'm sorry, 9:30 work?
It does, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, thank you.
We do have a disposition, by the way, Your Honor, on this matter, so.
Okay.
Entirely unproductive.
Okay. All right, and then let's see here. So we have. I'm trying to see if we have. Oh no, we have the other ones running. So. What did you say?
Flattery.
Oh wait, I do have that one here. All right, we are on the record in the matter of City of Wyandotte versus Mary Flannery, 23958. Good morning, Judge. Good morning.
Good morning, Your Honor. Gary Gardner on behalf of the defendant was present already, as I said hello to you already.
Yes, and what, in your name again, please?
Mary Pleathant.
Okay, and what is that you're holding?
My service cup. I have a disability.
Your what cup?
It's called a service cup. I have a disability.
Put it on the table.
Oh, okay, I just wasn't sure what it was. Okay, and so days and dates together for sentencing on your client's plea guilty to retail fraud. And did you have an opportunity to review the report and recommendation with your client?
I'd like to point out to the court.
Okay.
One, it says she receives $200 per month on a bridge card. That's actually a farm subsidy. She operates a farm and there's a farm subsidy she gets, that amount varies, so it's not a bridge card, it's a.
Can you clarify that? Where's the farm?
We have several, our family has several farms. We have 180 acres of sugar beets, 180 acres of watermelon. That's out by, you know where Jonesville is, Reading, Michigan, Frontier. It's out there. That's one of them.
Oh.
Amish people rent from us, so it pays the taxes. And then we produce products from the products. Pioneer Sugar Bars or sugar beets. We use watermelon for safe candy for kids, to buy product or waste products for safe candy for kids because it doesn't have red dye 40. Anybody in our family has a certain blood type, and it has a lot of allergies to go with it.
Okay.
So that's
Right.
almost TOI, but thank you.
Interesting. I've not had anybody, I've not heard that before.
Third generation carrying this.
Also, Your Honor, there's a history of seizures, physical trauma, and PTSD. Actually, PTSD is now complex PTSD. She just currently and
multiple
traumas, including currently witnessing a very violent act that happened about 4 days ago. She's under treatment for all those things. So that's what she's going through. She's taking 3 drugs: Depakote, DHPA, COTE, Remeron, REM, and Resperidol, RESPERDOL. None of those are narcotics, but those are non-narcotic pharmaceutical seizure medicines.
I've taken them since 1997. But they vary on my blood work. They take my blood work every 3 to 5 days. So some days I have not stayed.
Okay.
She does have a seizure of seizure disorder. She doesn't drink alcohol and no history of illicit drug use, Your Honor. With regard to that, with recommendation, also her son was in jail for the last 3 years. This morning he was released from the jail. He's got 5 days. He's on a tether. They're going to be
on a farm.
One of the farms. So.
Thank you.
So that's going on there. With regard to the recommendation, Your Honor, we have no, we asked the court to adopt a recommendation. However, with item number 4, she did give back the item that was taken, and she wants the court to know that at the time she returned the item that was taken, she gave an additional item as a gift to the store owner of a James Dean bust. It's the kind of store that would be able to sell that.
From Venice, everywhere.
Venice. Lastly, Your Honor, when she was younger, she would work actually with no history of military service. She did work for the Department of Defense.
I was a TS-12.
In Europe for 4 years. She was
4.5
years.
These are interrupt me.
And she was over there for 4.5 years for the government, Your Honor, and she was part of her duty would take priests and other ministers around and to carry classified documents for the defense. That all being said, Your Honor, I asked the court, that was a long time ago because she is, I want to disclose her age on the record in the report. I want to disclose ladies' ages, but we asked the court to adopt the recommendation.
What's a GS-12?
Government service employee. That's
12.
a classification.
Oh, okay.
It's a high level for a 19-year-old. 20.
Okay, and so are you planning on relocating?
I relocate often for my job.
No.
I thought that you weren't working right now.
Probably take care of our own hands. I'm a public servant. His mother needed help. Lance Green was police chief. I helped the family for 12 years.
I'm sorry, what family?
Gary Green, Lance Green was police chief. I took care of his mother for 12 years because we take care of our own.
Where was?
She's like
police
90
chief?
years old. She died about 3 weeks after I quit taking care of her.
Where was he police chief?
My God.
Yes, when was that?
Out in the 90s.
Okay.
Early 2000.
Okay.
Well, welcome to Weimar. He walked right out of your court after he assaulted me, or I don't even know if he came. He knocked me so hard in my jaw, man. the other side popped out.
Who is
Mary
that?
Green. Walked away right out of your court, $400, some keys, all my medical equipment.
Okay, well, let me just clarify. You're indicating
That was one
my
thing.
court. It was way before.
3 months ago. 3 months ago, man. My jaw's just kind of getting back. Pieces of my jaw are still coming out. I had to go for 2 weeks. Had it cut, flush, stitched back up. No.
Okay, and so you're indicating that Larry Green was just in this court 3 months ago.
He should have been. They took him, they arrested him. Look, he probably didn't even come in front of me. Because his brother was police chief, dude.
Okay,
Sorry.
don't do me.
I'm sorry. I have a disorder. I won't
Excuse
speak.
you, Your Honor,
I get that from my
I won't
16-year-old
speak.
daughter. I don't like it from her anymore
I won't
either.
speak.
So.
I won't speak.
Stacy to run Larry Green. See if we can in front of her.
You can talk to Nathan Geiger. He'll tell you all about it.
Who's Nathan Geiger?
You're a detective.
Okay, yeah. The court doesn't have detectives. He may be a detective for the Wyandotte Police Department, but that's not, that's a separate branch from the court.
Understood.
So you indicated that your son is going to be moving to his farm. And I thought you said you were moving also. So that was why I asked if you're
I'm
planning to
relocating
relocate.
for my job. I don't know where they'll put me, guys.
Who's they?
Who do you work
Who
for?
do you work for?
Myself.
Do you have, let me make some inquiries, Your Honor. Do you work for private individuals?
At times, yes, I
Okay,
do.
and those people vary from time to time.
Yes. And I
Yeah.
can't disclose the name because I
Okay.
hit them.
Okay, so you don't, you have people you work for, are you working at this moment?
Yes.
Okay, and how long are you working for this person?
Well, years.
Okay, and is that gonna continue or that person? Okay,
Continue, there's still a lot.
okay, and where is that person generally located in Wayne County?
Well, I'm hoping to stay down there. Oh,
Okay,
because I have to be every morning in the Lincoln Park. when
So you have to be
school
where?
starts. I have to be every morning in the Lincoln Park when school starts.
why is that?
Because I'm the crossing guard at Dixon Champaign.
Okay.
They've got cops still.
All right, and ma'am, that day, what is it that you thought you should take from Glowfish without paying for
None at the time, the doctor even recommended that I shouldn't drive.
Questions? What did you take?
I don't know, maybe 10 small items. Maybe from my recollection. I've had 7 closed head injuries. So I have trouble with memory, numbers, letters. I have a vision impairment because of it, not corrected with glasses. I was born with a different vision impairment, but because of the head injury.
Okay, the question was.
About 10 small items. Kind of like little bit souvenir.
you ever done that before?
No, that if I have money, I don't need to do that. I didn't even expect to be in that store. It was not my intention to be in that store. I've never been in it before.
All right.
I had doctors at the time coming to my home because I couldn't drive. Counselors, doctors, social workers, helping me, even doing household things.
Doctors are doing household things for you?
No.
Oh, people.
Yeah, I had 3, 4 people coming to my home during the time when I was unstable.
All right. The court's going to indicate, after hearing from counsel, hearing from Ms. Flannery reviewing the report, the recommendation, the court does find there's reasonable grounds for part sale sum 69.5. The court's going to indicate 6 months probation. You are eligible for early discharge. I'll go over that in just a little bit. The court will take this matter under 771.1. The court's going to indicate the following: you're not to violate any criminal law of any of government. You're not to leave the state without the consent of the court. You are to report truthfully to your probation officer. As often as your probation officer may require, in person, writing, or virtually. You notify your probation officer immediately when you change the address.
No, if she does have a hearing issue, I'm writing it down for her, and I will relay it to her. It will be in writing, available to you after the hearing.
It will, yes, but I can slow down. Okay, you're to report truthfully to your probation officer as often as your probation officer may require, in person, in writing, or virtually. You're to notify your probation officer immediately of any change in address or employment status. You're not using any alcohol or drugs that are not prescribed or be subjected to random testing. The rehabilitative goal for that condition is to monitor your progress in maintaining abstinence and sobriety. You're not to enter Glowfish Studios. You're to participate in the economic crime program. The rehabilitative goal for that condition is so that you can learn skills that will help eliminate behaviors that are associated with economic crimes. Hopefully you won't reoffend. And then any restitution, if requested at this point, $0 since the rest has been requested. Any questions?
Any question? It costs to do that. It's $140.
Nothing else.
Okay. All right. And then as to the fines and costs, the court's going to indicate a $300 fine, $100 supervision oversight fee, $100 screening fee, $300 supervision oversight fee. That's 6 months at $50 a month. Some of that money may not be due if your client discharges early. Cost of prosecution, $200. Crime victim assessment fee of $75. Justice system assessment fee of $50. Drove $1,025. And does your client have any of that to pay today or?
You have some time to be able to try to back to the plan.
All right, is there anything your client can pay today? 25, 50?
No. I can give you an explanation. My son was getting out today. I had to direct money all that way for him.
All of your money you had to send over to him?
I couldn't go today because I'm here with you. So I had to give my card, and I used my limit yesterday for what I needed yesterday. So I had to give my card to the individual that helped my son
Will you
today.
have money available tomorrow?
No, not until payday.
Will you pay it?
What's the date?
25th.
The 31st?
Maybe.
That's for August.
Well, see, I have a director. My money goes into an account. Well, I just make sure the money's in there. My director pays all my bills. I'm part of a trust fund.
Okay. So on the $1,025.
I don't have access that I can just go to the bank.
I understand.
I have to ask the director.
On the $1,025 balance, how much can you pay per month and what date of the month works best?
So I don't have any math ability off the top of my head. If I paid a certain amount every month, $100 every month, that's not gonna cover 100, 1,000, 200.
$250 a month for.
Sure. Okay.
All right, $250 per month, and what day of the month works best? Can you start that August 4th? That'd be a week from Friday.
End of the month, because I have bills that come from the director on the 1st and the 15th, and then he can send you money at the end of the month. That sounds good?
Okay, well, for clarification, to the court, not to me personally, so I just want to make sure for the record it's sent to the court.
Well, English isn't my first language, so sometimes I speak.
No, I understood everything you said, I'm just making a clear record. English is not your first language?
No, I mean, sometimes I probably get my verbs wrong. I know southern languages.
Okay. All right, August 28th will be the first payment, the 28th of every month thereafter. As I did indicate, you are eligible for early discharge, so long as all the following have occurred. You completed at least half of your original term of probation. All probation requirements have been completed. You've had at least 3 months without any violations, and all monies have been either paid in full or you've made a good faith effort to making full payment. Okay? Thank you. Thank you. Please stop over probation. Okay. Thank you. Okay. We are still on the record in the matter of the state of